Well, made a good segue into the concept of culture. As Peter and I have talked to a variety of leaders in the industry, they seem to correlate this whole concept of having a strong culture with business success. Give us a little bit of a perspective on how powerful culture is at Noble, and characterize for us, if you would, the culture at Noble.
Well, Bill, I think in every organization, the word culture is used because we recognize, how valuable it is in terms of our missions. And obviously, to do that, you have to figure out the best way in which to attract the best people. I think, the best coaches have the best players, right? And
Funny how that works, right?
I mean, that's kind of how it works. As you both know, the name Noble really came from the word we used around our family when we were growing up, and it was a name that my parents carried from them from India, which was a name that my word that my and there's a Gujarati translation to that they used over there. But that was a word that we used about your actions. Will always have a choice to be the most lucrative thing, the easiest thing. Make sure it's always the right thing. With all the constituents, make it the noble thing. And so when you kind of kid in a dream in 1993 and like, hey, you got to name your company. There was only one name. It was going to be Noble, and that's what we tried to we tried to make sure was woven into our DNA. Now, to do that, you have to find people that truly believe in that, with the character and the competency to be able to execute. And the only way that I knew how to do that was through alignment. And so I was very intentional at the very beginning about creating real alignment. I had the great fortune of starting with the business and being able to have the ownership of the business. And again, as both of you know, I had that as real enticements to go and attract really good human beings that had the competency that I thought together. Now, to go use it, the best coaches have the best players, to bring together a team. So now, after 28 years, we've got a team that's been together an average of over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I think about it actually really simply. As a student, Emerson was really my favorite, writer and poet. And he would say that our chief want in life is someone to inspire us to be what we could become. And I feel like that's our responsibility to one another, right? Like, everybody has dreams, and our responsibility collectively is to help each other achieve, our dreams. And so we've been very intentional about doing that together, having communications, alignment of ownership and interest. And my dear friend John Gray, who had on, uses the right word, meritocracy, right? And if people believe in that, and you live it and you lead by it, it really is a self-fulfilling, cultural, example. And I would also say one other thing. I've been very fortunate that our team, while very, very intelligent, no one's ever said, I want to be the smartest person in the room, right? They felt like, and over time, that our job was to collectively build upon, what we hope to be really the brightest room in our sector, and to continue to learn and grow by bringing in others into our group, and then learning and growing externally, whether that's through executive development, public company boards, other types of areas in which to grow. So when we use the word culture, I believe that it is a combination of each of those different areas acting kind of together as one that has that's built this. Now, the challenge, I would say, is that we're now 28 years old. I'm not the same kid that started this business, back in 1993. But I have another 20 years, at least I hope, of solid run rate. So we can accomplish something that very few real estate organizations of our size and scale can do, which is to have a generational, multi-decade run as a thoughtful, successful fiduciary. And so now, how do you build upon that culture with another generation, right? I'm starting to have great leaders retire, and that is new. It's not new in business, but it's new for us. So I would say I spent a lot of time thinking about the evolution of culture going forward.
So, Bill, it sounds like we know how Noble got its name. We need to go find the firm Pillage and Plunder, and as the counterpoint, right? I better Google Pillage and Plunder Inc. To find who they are.
Ferguson Partners is very unoriginal. Absolutely.
Exactly.